A big injury boost for West Ham ahead of the Sheffield United game. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. West Ham, of course, take on Sheffield United at Bramall Lane on Sunday afternoon, and there is lots to get updated on. We've been talking loads about transfers. We've been talking about all the ins and outs potentially happening at West Ham, but we have a big game coming up tomorrow afternoon against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. They ran out comfortable 4-0 winners over Gillingham in their recent knockout tie, while West Ham were eliminated due to the hands of Bristol City 1-0 at Ashton Gate. Now, Premier League joy has been limited supply for Sheffield United since returning to the Premier League, but Chris Wilder, who is back with Sheffield United, has masterminded a 1-0 beating of Brentford last month as they acquired just 1 point from a possible 12 in subsequent features against Chelsea, Aston Villa, Luton and Manchester City, respectively. Now, the Blades, Sheffield United, have managed 3 goals across 360 minutes of football, but they bettered that tally in a quarter of the time in the FA Cup third round affair against Gillingham, who were subjected to a 4-goal defeat to the hands of Sheffield United. Now, one man we do need to keep an eye on is Ben Bertrand Diaz, who, of course, has signed for Sheffield United, a player that we do know well because he has got a little bit of history when he played for Blackburn against West Ham, and we were chasing the geezer as well, so let's not underestimate what he is potentially capable of doing. But we're here to talk to you about some of the team news with regards to West Ham. Now, we knew a couple of weeks ago the season felt like it was crumbling upon ourselves when we heard the news of Jared Bowen picking up an injury in the Bristol City first leg. We heard the news about Paqueta picking up an injury in the first 20 minutes of that game. Kudus heading off to the AFCONs, injured as well. We've now Fagert out at the AFCON. We've got Ben Rama picking up a red card and probably kicked his last ball for West Ham. We've got the man you can see there, Alvarez, picking up a calf strain. We also have the news about Fornals picking up a bit of a knock, and then you felt like there was an injury crisis. However, as you can see rolling along the bottom there, is there being a West Ham injury boost. Now, David Moyes was very coy in his press conference about Jared Bowen, which leads me to believe that he will be fighting fit for the game, and we do need him, but as long as we're not rushing him. And what's interesting about the Jared Bowen situation is it's all smoke and mirrors, to be honest, when it comes to West Ham. But I do take you back several seasons ago when we had a Jared Bowen injury and nobody expected him to feature at all when we played Everton at home at the London Stadium, and he appeared on the starting lineup. So be mindful of the fact that he will potentially be in and around the squad, and that's a massive boost for West Ham, a huge boost for West Ham to have someone like Jared Bowen who's been firing in goals all season at West Ham. He's such an important player, and as long as we've not rushed him back, which I hope we haven't, and people feel like that's what happened with Paqueta, then fingers crossed he will be fighting on all cylinders come this game against Sheffield United. And another player that we could receive a boost for coming back will be Alvarez. We know how important he is in the middle of the park. He is vital to West Ham's progression. He's been an unbelievable signing since bringing him in from Ajax, thanks to Tim Steidten. The Mexican international is non-stop doing his work in the middle of the park. And it's interesting, obviously, West Ham are linked with Calvin Phillips as well as potential cover and or potentially featuring alongside Alvarez. But what we've learned about Alvarez is he's become a key part to our squad and could face being back in the West Ham lineup at the game against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. Now, listen, it wasn't a great couple of games, especially against Bristol City. However, we need to get the momentum back and we need to get the ball rolling again in preparation for the games coming up ahead. So touch wood, we can have these two particular players back. It would be nice to see Paqueta back as well. As long as he's not rushed, I don't think he'll think the Sheffield United games come a little bit too early for him. But when it comes to the two teams that are playing each other head to head, West Ham are on a run of 3 straight victories against Sheffield United without conceding. Sheffield United could lose consecutive home league games in this fixture for the first time since February of 1963. West Ham's victory in their last visit at Bramall Lane is the only away win in 9 Premier League meetings between the sides. Sheffield United have 9 points after 20 matches, the fewest points a team has had at this stage of the Premier League season. To avoid a relegation is 11 by West Bromwich Albion in 2004 to the 2005 season. Now, Sheffield United just earned 1 point from the last 4 league fixtures and are winless in 9. They could become the only third team to concede 50 goals after 21 games or fewer of a Premier League campaign. Sheffield United have conceded the first goal in 16 Premier League matches this season, more than any other side. And the earliest goal they have scored in a league game this season was by Cameron Archer in the 33rd minute against Everton on the 2nd of September. Chris Wilder's side have conceded a league high 13 goals from crosses in the current season we're playing in just now. And Oliver McBurney could become the first Sheffield United player to score in 4 consecutive top flight home appearances since Keith Eddy back in April to August of 1975. McBurney is the only player in the Premier League history to score in 3 consecutive home games and finish on the losing occasion each time. Now, with West Ham, an 11th league win of the season would match our tally for the whole of the 22-23 season. Crazy, isn't it? Our only defeat in 9 league matches was a 5-0 loss against Fulham. We've not conceded a goal in our top 4 top flight matches since that loss, and could equal the club league record of 5 successive clean sheets last set between December 1990 and January 1991 in the second tier. West Ham had only kept 1 shutout of our first 16 league games of this campaign. We're on a run of 8 straight wins against promoted opposition since a 1-0 loss at Nottingham Forest in August of 2022, and a record of 11 successive wins against the side starting the day at the bottom of the table is second only in Premier League history to Manchester City, who are currently on a record of 12-game winning streak in such games. So there are things to work towards there, an opportunity for West Ham if we can, but let's not underestimate the opposition. That's where we fail and falter sometimes, but we've got 34 points on the table, and it's an opportunity to just stay with that mix and start to bridge that gap and close and widen that gap just below us as well, because there's teams desperately trying to catch up with us if they possibly can. But long may our form continue. Long may we bring this form and keep that momentum going up. And these 2 players that you can see here with the hammers crossed on are very vital for us to progress as much as we possibly can. Thank you very much for joining me. There's your short, sharp, straight injury boost, hopefully, for West Ham coming into this big Sheffield United game. Join us for more content. Come on, you Irons.